Hey. Hey, thanks for watching the video or clicking, whatever. This is a intuitive look on how I feel, where I say the most inflammatory things that I think are true and without proof. So if you want to watch, please keep watching. Okay. Let's talk about the handlers. The handlers, especially at the advent of this current events, being Kirk. Candace Owens has a handler as her husband of hers. She probably doesn't know it, or she probably suspects it now, but she stays in it. She fucking stays in it. Kirk had a handler, and we all know Kirk's wife is, well. And I said that as soon as I saw Kirk's wife, like 2 days after Kirk got, as soon as I saw her, I never saw the woman before, and I said, oh, she's a problem. And I've talked about this before with these debaucherous principalities and their handlers and all of that shit. How does she become the handler? Well, I can suspect that you get in by two ways. You get into the Illuminati principality ship of debauchery. You get in two ways. You either get bukkakied on, or you sacrifice a child. Or you sacrifice somebody that you love or care about, yada, yada, yada. It's one of those things, right? But if you want to be a part of the principality, like a role in it, you got to do one of those two things. You got to be in with the debauchery, because they have deep secrets about blood, adrenochrome, all of that shit. They got deep secrets. So what did she do? She was a missionary for Romania. We already know the story. A couple of kids, not a couple, more than a couple, several children went missing while she was volunteering for a nonprofit organization. Anyways, just so happens that she also knows Trump. Just so happens that her mother worked for the FBI or knows collusions with the CIA and Trump. It's just too much. And I said this year, they're really sloppy. So Kirk's handler, Erica, she's, wants to excel she's too ambitious. And I've said this before. You've got to be careful about Caucasoidal blondes who want to excel on the social totem pole, because they'll trade anything to do it. They'll do anything to do it. I'm just going to say that. There's no love there. She's a fucking black hole. It feels like she couldn't wait to get rid of him. Like, oh, thank God. Now she can be herself and be free and be the slut she's always wanted to be for the past, 5 years, 8 years, whatever. Candace, she has a handler too. And that husband of hers is her handler. But the difference is her handler, for Candace, he cannot hold her. Like, he's too weak. He's way too weak. And she's way too strong. And also, Candace has kind of cornered out of a market and cornered it out for herself. I don't know if you're aware of this, Candace. Do you really, that man over there is your handler, right? I had to really think about this. I'm like, for people that are thinking oh, well, Candace is a part of it too. Like, she's, no one gets that famous without being a part of the principality of debauchery. And you're absolutely right, but not really. Because there's some people who, especially 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when they were starting on YouTube, you could excel. You can get a lot of notoriety. And Kirk and Candace, they actually had integrity. They actually were sincere about believing in their thoughts and opinions. They didn't really become pundits until they were introduced to Turning Point. Ching-ching. And then Candace, when she started talking, she got excommunicated out of the group, so to say. But she still had a handler to keep her in line for pundency for the right, especially the extremist far right. The problem is, it's not so much that Candace is a problem, because she's shedding a light right now to the fact that this fake Star of David principality could absolutely be involved in Kirk's assassination. And I think that's the case 100% too. That's what they're not liking. See, if Candace was properly being handled, she would stop talking about that. They don't really want that to come out. Like, if Candace were just attacking the fake Star of David principality, it might not be even a big deal. It's like, oh, whatever, Candace. But the fact that she's tying that to Kirk's assassination to them, that's a problem. That lets me know right there that she's not really a part of the principality. She has handlers. She has people around her. She's probably surrounded by fucking snakes. I mean, it's always a possibility that they can spin anything and use anger. But she's not behaving to me like she's in it. They might be, like I said, they might use Candace's momentum to, let's say, fuel the World War III type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean she's a part of it. And trust me, I'm not somebody who supports Candace. I mean, she said a bunch of disparaging things, but it's just like, I'm just thinking about it very objectively, or trying to be. And same thing with Kirk. Kirk had some integrity, and he didn't have discernment to know that he was surrounded around snakes, because they were smiling in his face, and it becomes very confusing. Same thing with Candace. Candace, girl, you're surrounded by snakes, girl. You really are. Your very husband is a fucking snake. And Candace, you know your husband's gay, right? Your husband's gay. Your husband likes dick more than he likes vagina. And I think you found that out like a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. You started really, really putting it together and being like, damn, your husband's gay. You have the same problem that Megyn Kelly has, but except Megyn Kelly's husband, oh God, I'm really spilling the beans here. Megyn Kelly's husband, he genuinely did like her at first. He genuinely did, but after about year 5, he started cheating. He cheated with the same woman for several years. He'd see her every couple of months, or he'd see her for a couple of months out of the year, and then he'd break it off with her and then come back. He'd do that for like he had a couple of sugar babies, I guess you can say, but he doesn't like to do the whole sugar daddy thing. So he has like, he plays in these relationships because Megyn Kelly has no growth. Megyn Kelly shows no fucking growth, and she's a hypocrite. He doesn't want to be around that. He's tired. He's grown. He's actually outgrown Megyn Kelly. He's actually outgrown her. I can see that. It's clear as day. She's trying to make it work, and she knows about the affairs that he's had, and he's staying in it because he told himself that Megyn Kelly was the best that he can do, and he's kind of internalizing the fact that he's cheating, which I guess he should, but he's cheating because he's outgrown her, and she's showing no growth. Megyn Kelly is showing no growth in their relationship as a person. She's just the same fucking note, and it's boring, one, but usually people who show no growth are complete narcissists. Like, they're narcs, and she might even be fucking demonic, but I don't even think she's aware of her demonicism. She's just a djinn, and she's just like ignorant and narcissistic as fuck. And he's just like bored. He's just like bored. He's tired. But like I said, he stays in it because he stays in it because he pinnacleized her. He pinnacleized Megyn Kelly, and he thinks that something is wrong with him for it not working out. Because Megyn Kelly is like, oh, she's this pundit, she makes all this money, she has this, she has that. And he's just like, well, there must be something wrong with me because I was waiting for this my entire life and I got it and I don't even want it anymore. So he's like doing this internalization thing too. So that shows that her husband has some kind of empathy with him. So anyways, that's what I observed about Megyn Kelly. This wasn't even about Megyn Kelly. This was about Candace Owens and Kirk. Candace Owens loved Kirk. They didn't work out. I talked about this before. She always had reservations in her heart as a friend. People move on. They have kids, yada, yada, yada. But like I said, they were both being handled from Turning Point into their handlers. Like, Kirk and Candace were able to amass a following over social media and YouTube because this was a time, or at that time, you could do that. You can get millions of followers and be the ordinary person. But they needed to infiltrate your life somehow by giving you handlers. So they did that to both of them. It's pretty obvious. But in the case of Candace, Candace's handler has no power over Candace. And I'm thinking it's one, to do with Candace's willpower, but two, to do with the fact that Candace has caught her husband out there. And she's not going to leave him because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's like, then it'll cause questions. She's very much still in her ego too. So for those who are like, kind of like, oh, well, Candace is part of it too. There's a, you're yes, but no, it's not exactly. There's a lot of people who are from YouTube that they have to be either initiated or handled. And because Kirk and Candace had a certain level of sincerity with their integrity, they had to be handled. Kirk was getting a little off the rails with his notoriety. Like, he had amassed a mass following in America, especially like I would say 4-6 times more than Candace, more than that, like maybe let's say 10 times more than Candace. So that's why Candace was like on a back burner, like, oh, there's that black bitch over there. Who gives a shit? That's what the principality was, just like, oh, she's nothing, whatever. Whatever. And now she's something because she's tying their debauchery to Kirk's assassination. So, food for thought.